What's poppin', everybody? Welcome to season 3, episode 1 of Culture Popped. The boys are back. I think Aaron will be joining us shortly. It's still early his time in Kami, California, but I've got myself and I've got my main man Drewski here with me. Drew, how are you, brother?
I am doing fantastic. Been in a creative zone pretty much for the past, God, I don't know how long, month. So many books I'm working on right now. But I'm glad to take a little break for right now for one evening.
Sure. and you kind of like went away to a secluded like igloo to write for this past week, right?
Yes. Many people are unaware, if you're not in the Midwest, that there was a big snowstorm, almost a blizzard that came through the Midwest. In Indiana, we got hit pretty hard. So I was snowed in pretty much like Jack Nicholson. But I managed to type out something much more eloquent than all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. So.
Well, not to compare, but it looks like we're gonna get snowed in Thursday, Friday with a hefty 1 to 2 inches. Okay, like just throwing that out there.
But hey, I mean, people don't realize that states like Texas or down south, it's like that's pretty much the apocalypse because they're not used to that. Yeah.
No, we're not used to it. We also don't have the like equipment or means to take care of it. Like if I'm in Tyler, their main roads, they'll treat with like salt and gravel. But outside of that, good luck. If you're on country back roads, yeah, good luck. So yeah, it's always interesting and entertaining. I stocked up on food that I can cook in a crock pot in case we lose power. And power isn't really so much because of, look, it's cold, we lost power. It's like if these trees freeze, they will fall. It's not uncommon for that to happen. Yeah. And they'll take out power lines.
It's scary stuff. If you don't live in the Midwest, it's scary stuff.
But I do have a generator. So, if I lose power, I'm good. Just going to hook that crock pot up. I bought stuff for pot roast, going to throw that in there and have a grand old time. Probably going to make that days. Regardless. Yeah, exactly. I don't have to worry about eating Ollie. He's safe. Like all is good.
There you go. Got it planned out.
Right? I feel like we have a little bit of a fun show. But before we get started, I do want to come in and look and see who all is in the chat with us right now. We do have Cajun Corey here celebrating 7 months of his membership. Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you, sir. Let me play a clip and then I'll have they keep updating stuff on StreamYard and I'm lost. Let me play this clip and then I'll discuss some New Year's stuff with Drew real quick. But we will go with, you know what? Let's just start off this with the New Year.
I'll show you the tool that's most important to our survival. But fair warning, it's my penis.
Woo!
Chevy.
So, Drew, do you have any New Year's resolutions that you're putting into this year?
I should have thought about that. But I try to approach every year as trying to be better than the previous year. And I'm not going to lie. Like, honestly, I seriously think I haven't gotten even close to hitting my peak yet, whether it's, job wise, financially, creatively. Like I'm still rising. I'm still on the rise, and I'm just now 40. And I think that's a good sign. And I think if I'm following my trend from last year, this year should be even better. So it's just to be better in those aspects in my life.
Absolutely. I think my goal for 2025 or my resolution is just to have a little more initiative. 2024 wasn't a bad year. It was definitely a weird year for me. Like I kicked the year off with the death in the family, and then I pretty much ended the year with the death in the family. So it was kind of strange. But at the beginning of last year, we lost my grandmother, and it took some kind of like refiguring some things out with family and how we're going to do things. And I think my mom kind of needed more support than what we would normally get. Oh, that sounds bad. She needed more support than what we'd normally give her. No, I think she needed she needed time for her, so we kind of stepped up a little bit. But it's also weird because at the end of 2023, my dad was forced to retire early, so it was like two things back to back, kicking off 2024 that really kind of made it odd for the family. But pulled together, came through. I think I had some ho hum moments in there where I was like, I just don't want to do anything, and I'm gonna lay down in bed. But yeah, so 2025, a little more initiative, get back to just kind of like my go get it attitude, and we'll see what happens from there. So I feel you. And yeah, I think you haven't even gotten close to hitting your prime yet, especially with the work you're doing. So looking forward to it. If you guys, heck yeah. If you guys have your New Year's resolutions you want to share in the chat, drop it in. I'm going to say hi to a few more people before we get on to tonight's topics. We also have Jaimin D in the house coming with a rock on. Rock on, brother. How are you? We've got JD Petty. Well, it finally happened. Brapping is now canon. Wait, what?
What's brapping?
What is brapping? JD, I don't know what this is.
Not all the kids' lingo.
I'm terrified. I'm scrolling down to see if you answer immediately, but yeah, okay, we'll wait and see if you answer, but I have no idea what that is. Dookie Comics? That has to mean a certain creator that has Dookie Man cards, right?
Oh.
Right?
Maybe. Are we actually going to get Dookie Comics?
I don't know. Are we getting Dookie Comics? Maybe.
Maybe.
We have Maxfield Von Priestley in the house coming in with a woo! And also proving that he's gay yet again. New year, new me. It's me.
It's all about me.
If you missed it, Friday of last week, we joined Max for our, I almost said top 10, worst comics of 2024. And, it's a good thing he's not monetized, because if he was, he would have gotten demonetized. So, but yeah, you should go check it out. It's only like 5 hours long. So just, play it while you're at work. That it'll take up most of your shift. It's a win-win. JD Petty put hopefully less for Kate at Powder than Stephen King as well. So less cocaine? I don't know.
That's what I'm assuming. Yeah, less for Kate at Powder. Yeah. But people got to bear in mind, if you're not familiar with Stephen King, he plowed through cocaine back in the 70s and 80s, predominantly in the 80s. Like you think about that on the set of Maximum Overdrive he was directing, he was plowing through cocaine and Dom Perignon like every day, if not every week. They would find him wandering on the highway, drunk. They would have to pull him back to set because he was so drunk and high on cocaine. He was to get sober. He was downing mouthwash to sober up. It's like, yeah. What does that tell you?
Yeah, no, that's pretty bad. That's I mean, am I surprised? No, but it's pretty. We've got JK in the house coming in with 1 to 2 inches is rough, especially if it's all ice. Yep.
If it's rough.
Ooh, 1 to 2 inches is rough. Kaiser Jose, Drew, is it true Indiana doesn't salt their highways?
That's not true. They do.
Yeah, and y'all have like plows and stuff too, right?
Yes. I mean, pretty much everyone who has a Dodge Ram or a Ford F-150, 350, they've all got like a plow attached to their trucks. And they're all, so where I live, there are a lot of wealthy people, and a lot of them are able to afford to have people to come plow their driveways, plow the cul-de-sacs, whatever, because they have lawn care and they do snow care too. So it's one of those parts of Indiana where you can afford to do both. So the roads are not too bad.
Cajun Corey's coming in with I'm getting like 3 inches of snow Friday. Good thing I've got a 4-wheel drive truck. Yeah, I used to have, my old car was 4-wheel drive. My new vehicle is not. So not risking it. Sorry, work. Not risking it.
Not today, Satan.
I told my boss today, I was like, hey, I hope you're planning for me to not be here on Thursday. And she was like, why? And I was like, because it's supposed to like start sleeting at 7 a.m. and we're staying below freezing all day. and it's gonna sleet and rain all day, and then drop to like 24, 25 at night. Yeah, ain't happening. Speaking of that special little retard Max, he's coming in with 7 months of membership. I've got to, oh, you know what? We know what clip we're going to play for Max. It's a given. Here we go, guys.
Max, I just gifted you a ice cream super sticker.
Ice cream, yum.
I almost clicked the gay corn dog song. Did you get to hear that?
Say again? What?
The gay corn dog song. Did you ever hear that when I played it?
I don't think so.
I might have to bust that out towards the end, and I'll just remind you of what it is. I played it for one of the, I think, Sipping with McDizzy streams, but it's a gem. I'll just put it that way. What is this? I'm gonna get completely lost on comments tonight. Apparently, YouTube won't let you yell straight. So are they just anti-people because you can't yell faggot and you can't yell straight? So who knows? We're 12 minutes in. I should be okay.
Yeah.
Let's see if anyone else has anything to say. Oh, brapping is dookie.
How does that one translate to the other one? I don't understand.
No. All these freaking words that kids have. I don't know. I don't know what y'all are drinking, but it's not the good shit. That's what I do know.
No.
We have Max again coming in to say, make sure you slap that like button. Yes, please. I'm trying something different tonight. I'm not streaming to Twitter because I got to a point where I was losing YouTube viewers, but gaining more Twitter viewers, but it does absolutely nothing for me. So I'm trying to force. I mean, I was getting to a point where we were literally on some of the streams, we had like 70, 80 people watching from Twitter, and it does me no good. So
people have their comfort zones. They've got their routines. They won't leave that one area.
So we're trying going back to the old school days of just doing YouTube and see if we can get people to come in this way. Oh, Max is correcting me. We have the live stream and his abbreviated recorded video, but that's where you can only get Max's bottom end. And we all know that the opinions that people really care about that or from the group is Drew, Kyle, and I. So,
yeah,
if you want to make Max feel better, then you can go watch his recorded video. If you want to get the goods, the real opinions, go watch the live stream.
Honestly, I think one of the best videos is when we're at the Whataburger and Kyle's giving his opinions of Whataburger to Max.
I've got that. I need to add that on here at some point. This is the most basic bitch burger of basic bitch burgers. And then you got X-Ray. Josh is a faggot. I was like, oh God, this is a hot mess. What we really needed to record was the lead up to us getting to Whataburger. If someone had recorded that, that would be my most viewed video out of all videos.
Recorded Kyle talking to Cajun, like, the more I'm drunk, the more I can understand you.
That was the best because he literally was like he was not feeling that night. And then he got a little drunk and he was like, okay, I'm good with my peeps. And then Corey came over and started talking. You could tell Kyle's like, I don't know what the fuck this guy's saying, but I can't understand. Fast forward another 3 drinks, and Kyle's like, the drunker I get, the easier you are to understand. So,
I have the perfect photo for that night where we could tell Kyle wasn't feeling it. It's when he saw that guy in the kilt. Kyle looks over, he's like, just has that, oh, fuck me look on his face.
Oh man, I can't. That was great. I loved it. Good times in Dallas. Final few comments before we get on to tonight's topics, but we do have Zaxx in the house. Joshy with the rainbow. What is up, Zaxx? Thank you for being here, sir. It's good to see you. And Cajun Corey. I'm drunk enough I can finally understand you. And Max loving that video. Max, I think, also loved that picture of him praying for his milkshake. So, Too many good memories, man. I can't wait. This Dallas this year is going to be bomb. Just
Be off the
because
chain.
there's going to be so many people we get to meet because West's coming in. So
Yeah, we got to figure out we got to talk about the lodging and situation and all that stuff.
yeah, I've got
away.
to. You know what? I know those dates, so I need to go ahead and put those requests in, and hopefully I get Vegas dates soon. Gary, if you're listening somewhere out there, get on that. But yes, Kaiser, Wes is coming to Dallas this year for Dallas Fan Expo. So he's planning a trip to the States. He's going to kind of do a lot of stuff and I think kind of wrap up in Dallas. But we're trying to get pretty much as many aficionado people in as possible. So you guys should come. Oh, Brapping was in reference to a certain upcoming Harley Quinn comic. Oh, so Brapping is farting? I guess. I don't know. I think I may have lost Drew. It went quiet. Can you guys still hear me? Because now I'm getting paranoid. Well, I'm going to keep talking and hopefully someone will give me a thumbs up that they can hear me. Well, this sucks because we were about to. Yeah. Oh, Drew died. Oh, Drew died, guys. It was the freaking blizzard got him. Well, crap. We were about to. I can see you too, Jaimin D. I can see you too. All right. Yeah, I heard some like. Oh, there he is. There he's back.
Hey, that was weird. I don't know what happened.
I was like, oh no, Drew's popping out. And then I was like, no, he's still there. Like, shit, is it me? No. So look, there are people that can do solo streams. I am not one of them. I look Sassy, Mrs. Sassy Sasquatch, a master at doing. I don't know how she does. She just makes it look super easy. She goes on, she does her thing. It's always entertaining. I'm like Captain Retard up here if it's a solo stream because I'm paranoid as fuck the entire time. But Drew, let's go ahead and get into tonight's topics. We're going to start off with real talk and do some movie and TV discussions. Did you watch the Golden Globes by chance?
I saw bits and pieces. My favorite segment, I think, is when you guys sent like what's her name, the host. She was Nikki Glazer was her name. She showed like the number of people, like comments people made in their acceptances speeches. I thought that was that was hilarious.
Yeah, I need to look up more of her stuff because the clips that I saw of her were actually pretty damn funny. And whoever's idea it was to pick her, smart choice, because you have a lot of people, we'll say on a certain side of things, film-wise, politically, whatever you want to say. And I think we all had no interest in watching, which is why I didn't watch. And then these clips started coming out, and I was like, dang, she was actually pretty funny. And she got my attention more than anything else. So,
yeah, I mean, it's from Jump Street. She did not hold back, which was great. And that's what they need, you know. And it's like, look, Ricky Gervais set the bar. No matter what people may think, they're going to keep playing his opening monologue until the end of time because of how brutally honest and hilarious it was. And that's the bar. You've got to meet that bar and exceed it. And I think she did a good job meeting that bar.
Yeah, she definitely did. So the main reason I asked was one to bring her up because I thought she did, at least from what I saw, did a pretty good job and seemed pretty funny. She took some funny shots at some of the celebrities in her opening monologue, so good stuff. But the main reason I'm bringing this up is I don't know if you saw, but a certain Irish actor won Best Actor for The Penguin. So Colin Farrell snagged a Best Actor Golden Globe and kind of wanted to. I know you haven't seen the show. I know you're probably not going to watch the show, but does this surprise you?
No. I mean, I know this was one of like the 2 or 3 favorite shows people had, like this one and the one not Ronin. I forget what it's called. The Japanese show about the guy gets shipwrecked.
Yep. Shoot, Shogun.
Shogun, yeah. I would think like it would have either been him or probably one of the leads from Shogun that probably would have won Best Actor. But yeah, everything. I mean, I've not heard any bad reviews about the show at all, or him on the show. I mean, everything about him has been glowing. So I'm honestly not surprised.
So the lead actor from Shogun did win. This got put in that weird like miniseries subcategory.
Yeah, I saw that.
Worked out for Colin, didn't work out for Kristen Milotti, which was a shame. But like,
yeah, I know people were calling bullshit on that. I know that.
Well, it was kind of like an unfair thing because she technically played a supporting character and she was up against people that were lead characters. So I kind of felt like she was not going to get it. Because for miniseries, they don't separate lead and supporting. They just like best actor, best actress, limited series. There you go.
And I'm not look. I know it was Jodie Foster won. So
oh yeah, what the fuck was that? And
yeah, it's like is that like what a lifetime achievement award for her they gave her probably because I know
pretty much
no one really said anything glowing about her or
that
maybe
show or that
or
season
that show.
Anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah, True Detective season 4. Everything that I saw about it was people talking about how trash it was.
It seems like it seems true about everything for True Detective past season 1.
Yeah. I will say, JK says I haven't seen the show, but his performance in the Batman was good. It's a solid show. I mean, it's worth watching if you have time to watch it. And they do a really good job of just making you like he stays a villain. So that's the good thing. But they do a good job of like really fleshing out his story, showing some just character aspects of him, and giving you a decent plot to follow. So,
and I do know the other surprise was a show beating the Penguin, or for the others was like that like a Rudolph or Kill Rudolph or Reindeer or something. I forget what it's called.
Oh, yeah, Baby Reindeer, but that's based on a true. Yeah, I think that's based on a true story. I've got to look it up.
Yeah, everyone was like, "Wait, what show is this?"
I mean, it got a lot of acclaim coming out. I think it was one of those like podcast stories that came out first, and then they decided to make a film. But it's based on a true story. I think it's someone catfishing someone, or I'd have to go back and look. But there was some fare behind it, so I'm not overly surprised. But yeah, so we've got Colin Farrell. He wins the Golden Globe. It's really interesting because we're starting to see like kudos, Colin, good job. But we're starting to see this whole thing with DC that, you know, you had the whole Matt Reeves, the Batman come out, and it did, it seemed kind of like, oh, this is a little sleepy. And then they announced James Gunn's taking over the DC universe, and it's the Gunverse. And he announced this whole slate of stuff that they're doing. And one of those things was the Batman Bold and the Brave, right?
Yeah, Brave and the Bold. Yeah. Brave and yeah.
So, but
that's
now
on hold.
Yeah. But now we're hearing like crickets because it was supposed to have Muschietti, who directed The Flash. The Flash came out and bombed. So it was like, okay, what's going on? But it seemed like all things were going to, hey, we're going to lean into the Gunverse. We're not going to really lean into this Matt Reeves verse. They took stuff that was supposed to be in Matt Reeves verse off the table. Like there was supposed to be an Arkham series that got squashed. And it looked like they were kind of changing directions. But then Penguin comes out, does really, really well. And suddenly what was just going to be a mini series, call it a day, is now turning into multiple seasons, with the season 2, quote unquote, quietly in the works, according to Matt Reeves. But the other thing that was announced was Matt Flanagan's Clayface.
Yes.
So
this is where it's getting murky. And this is where the I don't want to call them lies, but I can't think of a better word for them, but the lies from James Gunn when he said no projects would be greenlit unless there was a finished script. I remember him saying that. And then we get this announcement, Matt Flanagan's Clayface, with no script. It's like, what bullshit is this?
So I think there is a script. I don't know how finished it is, but the whole thing is Matt Flanagan. So he's not directing. He's just providing the script. No. So it's my understanding that he wrote the script and it's good to go and ready. They read it. They liked it. And they're moving forward with it. and we'll figure out who the director is going to be. But it's not Flanagan, because Flanagan's going to be doing The Exorcist, I think.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So
Another reboot of The Exorcist.
Yeah. But I think a lot of people were expecting this to potentially be in Gunn's verse, and it's not. It's in Matt Reeves' Batman universe. So now I've got all this random shit kind of like flying around that I'm trying to figure out of like, okay, so are we not pulling back on Reeves? Are we going to jump back in? Was this kind of the idea with the Arkham series, but not?
Yeah, for comic book fans like us, it's not that hard really to figure this out. But for Joe Schmo in Pig's Knuckle, Arkansas, it's going to be difficult because they're going to be thinking it's all one universe.
Right. So the other interesting thing is this isn't a like mini series. This is going to be a film that releases in theaters.
That's a bold strategy, Cotton. I don't know about that. Jeez.
I'm with you on that one. I don't know. I feel like when you do stuff like this with like Penguin, if you don't have the highest viewership, you can get by with awards. I don't know how this is going to fare.
And here's the thing. It's like, I think, how should I say this? This is showing the trauma in James Gunn, where James Gunn likes the weird. He likes the strange. He likes the obscure characters. So I think he's willing to give a chance to those weird and obscure characters, to give them the light of a big screen film as compared to Wonder Woman or something. And it's like, are you sure about that, James? This is a big gamble, big risk you're putting on a supervillain, and not just that, it's a disgusting villain at that. It's going to look nasty. So I don't know if it's going to pay off the way you think it will.
Yeah. If they lean into the horror elements, which I'm assuming that's what they're going to do if they're bringing Matt Flanagan. Like if he's the guy that wrote the script, I feel like it's definitely going to lean into the horror elements. But they also made the comment that it's going to be based in reality. So it's like,
what?
Okay, but yeah, right. So I'm like, what does that mean? Does that mean you're going to have Clayface, as we know Clayface, as this like monster, but everything surrounding it is going to feel like reality? Like it's going to feel like real world and not too over the top?
Or is he just going to be able to just change his face and that's it?
Like, is he going to be like a master of disguise? And if it's a master of disguise, that's going to be freaking lame. Like, I want body horror, Clayface, monster, and if you want to make it,
I want to see a live action version of Batman being sucked into Clayface. Clayface is hearing his heart slow down, and you see Batman like he blasts through his grapple hook through his head to escape. That's what I want to see.
Same, 100%. And so that's the thing. Like, if by reality you mean like, yeah, Clayface is the monster you want, but it's going to be like mostly the Gotham City Police Department dealing with them, and you kind of get like a
Villain of the Week.
Central, like just a Gotham Central vibe, like the book Gotham Central, not the fucking Fox show that was terrible, but like the book Gotham Central was really good. It felt really steeped in reality, and then you had your larger than life villains. And I felt like it worked because it showed why you needed people like Batman and superheroes, because the cops just weren't fully capable of doing it on their own. But it also, leans into the question: are you gonna have Batman show up in this film? Because I think we saw from Sony, if you don't, it doesn't work. And
exactly.
While you can get away with it in Penguin because it's a little mini series off to the side and it's got like a thread between like the Batman and the Batman 2, or at least that's the plan. If you've got a whole film that's Clayface and you don't have Batman show up once, what's the point? Like, and it goes back to the same point as the 3 Venom films, Morbius, Madam Web, Craven. Didn't see Venom 3, didn't see Craven. Not sure if I will, maybe, possibly. But and it's like you kind of miss the point of it. And in addition to that, hopefully you won't have the producers going like, well, the only reason these movies didn't do well is because of the media. But yeah, I don't know.
I'd be saying you guys should have followed looked at the history of putting out villains on their own in their own films, and you could have seen how well that did.
Yeah, was not a good
Hell, I go as far back as the '80s with the was it Boris and Natasha film. Jesus, I mean they made a Boris and Natasha film from Rocky and Bullwinkle back in the '80s, and I think it was with what's his name from Who Framed Roger Rabbit, played the detective. He played Boris, and it was not a good film. And you know what? It failed.
Yeah.
So it's not a good omen.
No. JK added a comment here. Plus, the Penguin went to a limited audience versus the general audience. I mean, Penguin, it was on Max, limited in that degree, yeah. But this is where it's like, I don't know if a film is a great idea because you live and die by box office, and if it's got a bad box office, like DC and Warner Brothers need some wins. If they make if they go in like a true horror film and do this relatively cheap and get a solid box office, that could potentially work. But
I was gonna say, yeah, if they could do this for $100 million or less, yeah, I think they can make that back.
Another comment here is, there's an interview where Reeves just said Pattinson could be in the Gunverse. So it looks like they're fighting it. I honestly, what I would do is, if you need to say they're connected, fine, great, whatever. But just, it looks like Matt Reeves has stories he wants to tell. Let him tell them. If they continue to bomb and fail, which I wouldn't say Batman necessarily bombed, but it wasn't as successful as they wanted it to be.
It wasn't the big box office success that they expected.
Right.
And part of the factor is a 3-hour film. It's difficult.
Agreed. So yeah, Jaimin D says $20 million should be the budget. I mean, they'll if you're gonna have Pattinson in there as Batman, it's gonna automatically be a little bit more than that, but it definitely needs to be less than 100. Because if they go over 100 million and keep it as a horror type flick, they're gonna lose money on it. And there's one more. JK, I know I'm in the minority, but I like the Batman better than No Way Home. You're not in the minority. As much as I don't know, it's weird. I think overall the Batman is a better made film than No Way Home, but it's just No Way Home's a hot mess on a technical standpoint.
I will say the one positive for the Batman is that it is a better looking film than No Way Home.
No Way Home is more fun if you don't think about it, though.
Yes.
And ignore that they're 40% of the film was shot with one person standing in front of a green screen and no one around them.
And that you're not going to have long stretches of people saying nothing and just looking there, standing there, and potentially falling asleep.
Yeah, fair. I didn't mind the slower pace. I was okay with it, but yeah, it did drag. I disliked the Batman the most at the end when they went full Scott Snyder with the bombs. But
yeah, it's like wait, what? You're putting on these bombs, and I'm fairly certain I saw only seen it once. I'm fairly certain they did not even mention that beforehand in the film, like about the levees or whatever being about bombs being planted or the levees being weak. I don't think I remember them saying that.
Yeah, I would have to go look at it. I know kind of the point was that was supposed to be the shock reveal if there's bombs planted around the city, but yeah, I don't know.
It doesn't work if you don't it doesn't work if you don't tease something beforehand, about it. But whatever. Okay, we're not.
I haven't watched the film since it came out on digital, so I've seen it twice. So I would need to rewatch it before I fully commit to saying it's not in there.
So once 3 years ago, almost 3 years ago at this point. And the other crazy thing is that Robert Pattinson could potentially be older than Ben Affleck was when he filmed Batman Part 2. Think about that.
Or Ben Affleck, or you mean Christian Bale? I think Christian Bale, right?
No, Ben Affleck. Ben Affleck was 40 when he did Batman.
Oh.
He did BVS, and Robert Pattinson's going to be, I think, 42, 41, and he's supposed to be playing the younger Batman.
Yeah, sheesh. Well, we'll see. 2 comments real quick before we move on to our next topic. But we do have Chris coming in with, did anyone watch Raw last night? It was kind of ass. Bill's Batman. I did watch it because I was really curious. One, I was annoyed that I had to sit through commercials. and it was even more frustrating because it was the same commercials getting repeated. I'm already paying for a subscription, man. Like, I get there's one with either less ads or no ads, but come on, Netflix isn't exactly cheap of its subscription. But
I heard the Hogan. I didn't get a chance to watch it, but I heard the Hogan stuff was not well received.
Yeah, I mean, look, he came out just to like they had a couple people come out just to show face and be there because they're a big name for the company and the history of the company. He had one of those segments, and it was met with like applause at first and then some boos. But they were in Los Angeles, and he was just very vocal about supporting Trump. So I kind of expected that to happen. But he was promoting a beer. I guess he has a beer line, or
it's like American beer or whatever.
Yeah, real American beer or something like that. Probably tastes like Budweiser. Probably tastes like I'm a beer snob, so
I know what, I'm not even going to give it that credit. I'm willing to bet it's going to taste like Natty Light. When I say
Natty
that,
Light.
it's going to taste like water.
That's right. So you got some PBR for you, Pabst Blue Ribbon. But yeah, Chris, I was not impressed. I wasn't even that impressed with most of the matches. Like, I thought it was pretty. I started doing laundry while it was on. Like,
I think for me, the most impressive instance, it was seeing Topanga in the stands. I was like, oh hey,
yeah,
I'm content.
Yeah. And like WWE, get your shit. Like, give us more matches, man. 3-hour show, and there's like what 5 matches total, I think.
That's it. Wow.
Yeah, it's well, they do so much other crap. This is why I stopped watching Raw and SmackDown. I just watch pay-per-views and call it a night. Final comment before we move on. Kaiser Jose, anyone watch Kill Tony? Great comedy show. So I do, and we just had a friend that actually went and recorded an episode. So he'll be on there. So Abomination AJ. I can't remember what date he said. So Zaxx, if you're still in here and you remember what date he's going to be on, drop it in the chat. But you may have popped out already. So yeah, Kill Tony, worth checking out. AJ is kind of starting his comedy career, so we'll see how he does. Next up, so this is kind of an old story, but it was brought up because of Mike Flanagan's Clayface. But there was an interviewer that asked about James Mangold's Swamp Thing. So roughly a year ago, James Gunn had mentioned that they had James Mangold snagged to direct. Oh, so it premiered today? Okay.
What did?
AJ. So I guess AJ's episode of Kill Tony premiered today. So Zaxx is going to grab the link and drop it in the chat. So yeah, we have a mutual friend, Abomination AJ, who does some YouTube stuff. He's a nerd as well. But he, I guess he was on Kill Tony, and he was on Kill Tony, but I guess that episode premiered today. So hell yeah, I'll have to go message him. Anyway, James Mangold, it was announced like a year ago when they were announcing all these things that they're going to do, that James Mangold's Swamp Thing, or James Mangold was tied to Swamp Thing. And I think with the whole Mike Flanagan and Clayface kind of getting pushed and announced, someone had asked, what's going on with James Mangold Swamp Thing? Is that still in the works? And apparently, yes. It's coming. It will be Gunverse, though. And James Gunn made the comment that Swamp Thing is so well known that they don't even need to do an origin story. They're just going to jump in with a character.
Bold strategy, Cotton. It's just another one. This is once again, like I just said this earlier, with James Gunn and his love for the monsters and the love for the weird, the trauma in him, because he comes from Trauma Films. And hey, I respect that and love that. But when you're putting these weird, strange, odd characters that are not the A-list, hell, not even Swamp Thing isn't even a B-list character. You're putting them up there. It's like, no, it just. Look, I love Swamp Thing as much as you do, and a few of the others do. I've got all the absolute editions on my bookshelf, but I recognize Swamp Thing is a hard sell as a movie. Swamp Thing is a hard sell as a TV series. 2 failed TV series, 2 failed films, a failed animated series. It doesn't work.
Yeah. I will say that the more recent TV series that they did was actually solid.
Okay, I was going to ask you about that. If that I hadn't watched it because I was afraid to because I was pissed. I'm like, oh god, I was too pissed to watch it.
I mean, look, it's not perfect, right? It's definitely not perfect, but considering it was coming through DC Studios and considering how much garbage Titans was, I was actually surprised at how well they were able to do Swamp Thing. But yeah, I mean, again, interesting. I just thought that comment was really interesting, and I was like, man, I would backtrack that and make it an origin story because I think people will hear Swamp Thing and go like, oh, I'm familiar with it, I've heard of it, but they don't know anything about it. If you were going to come in and say we're doing a Batman movie or a Superman movie or a Spider-Man movie, we're not having the origin, I would say thank God.
Yes,
at least don't focus heavily on it.
Yes, those are well-known IP brands like Coca-Cola or Pepsi. People know those brands. Swamp Thing, no, you can't do that. I mean, shit, what the hell was I going to say? I just had it. Damn it. I hate when that fucking happens. You get prepped, you get primed, ready to say something, then you forget it. You forget what you're going to say. Damn, I lost my train of thought. But okay. This is what happens when you're pretty much a drunken gambler playing with house money. You can do whatever the hell you want, and that's where James Gunn is at right now. He is the drunken gambler playing with house money. They gave him complete control, so he can do he can do an ambush bug film next, for all we know. Josh.
Oh god, yeah. Well, I mean, at this point, we kicked things off with
Creature Commandos,
which I haven't watched a single one. Yeah.
I haven't watched a single one either.
So I might wait for its final episode to drop, and then I'll binge it. I might come back and do like a quick review conversation here. Yeah. And then we got Superman coming out. Mm-hmm. And after that, it's essentially
Clayface?
Gosh, Clayface and Supergirl that come out in 2026. So,
and is it confirmed that Jason Momoa is playing Lobo in the Supergirl film, or is that just a rumor still?
It is confirmed that Jason Momoa is playing Lobo. What's interesting is this was kind of like hinted at, 2 years ago?
Well, no, it was hinted at as far back as him playing Aquaman, where people were like, why isn't he playing Lobo?
Right. Yeah. So, yes. That most definitely for sure. But James Gunn had posted something about Lobo. It was like a picture of Lobo and then a comment about Jason Momoa or something. So he posted that like 2 years ago. And then Brandon Davis was actually doing an interview with Jason Momoa for Aquaman and was like, so what's up with James Gunn posting a picture of you or a picture of Lobo and then discussing you in a tweet? And Jason Momoa had no idea. And he's like, what? And you could tell he's like, his mind is like, can I fucking say something or can I not say something? Is this a trap? But Brandon recently tweeted that video and it was really funny. But yeah, officially confirmed he's coming in as Lobo. Honestly, I think this is perfect casting because he is kind of Lobo. I mean,
yeah, he's built like him. He's got the hair.
Yeah,
I mean, he's got pretty much got the eyes and the grin and the smile and the muscles. It's fucking Lobo.
Yeah. And he's, just biker him up a little bit, make him a Caesarian, and you're fine. But I'm not sure that I'm crazy that he's going to be in the Supergirl film.
Yeah. That's where it's like, as soon as you find out who's writing it, it's like, oh, fuck. And it's just, then you automatically know, okay, this guy's wearing the ball gag in the film, and it's going to be the submissive in the damn film.
Yeah. Because they're basing. Well, they claim that they're basing that film on Supergirl: World of Tomorrow by Tom King,
which is True Grit by Tom King.
Yeah, and look, I guess you can find a way to incorporate Lobo in that because Lobo's not in the book.
Not at all.
But
no.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. I think this is good casting. I've seen stupid comments of people being like, "Yeah, I don't know. Jason Momoa's not the best actor." I'm like, he doesn't need to act. Like, just turn you up to like 12, 13, and you'll be good. So,
yeah, just be be the main man, be an absolute Bastich. Yeah, it's not that hard, So
yeah. And if you want a good Lobo book to read, back around Halloween, they had a special come out through DC Comics that was honestly probably the best Lobo thing that's come out in 15, 20 years.
Well, you know what I'd say to that? It's like go onto Amazon, buy the big fragging compendium of Lobo. I got that on my bookshelf. It was, I think, like $50, but it has every single Lobo appearance in this big fragging compendium. It's awesome.
Nice. Max did come in and comment, ha ha ha, what? If there's anyone we need an origin story for, it's Swamp Thing. Max, just because you were reading All Winter and didn't realize that Alec Holland is Swamp Thing. I'm kidding, I love you. No, you're right, though. I mean, I'm sure there's plenty of people that were even reading that comic, didn't realize Alec Holland is Swamp Thing, and we're like, what the heck's going on? And we're like, oh my God, it's Swamp Thing. But yeah, plus, if you're really going to lean into the stuff that came before Alan Moore, because there was a lot of lore that kind of got laid out before Alan Moore. And then even what Alan Moore did, there's a lot of supporting characters that you have to dive into. And we're talking about the DC/CW show. I think some of the supporting characters is where they really failed. Some were good, some were not. So
yeah, several of the characters on the CW pissed me off. The interpretations of them.
Yeah,
Ragman should have been great. Ragman was wasted. I think Mr. Terrific was wasted. Wild Dog was fucking wasted. They pretty much simped his ass in no time.
What about the 6 different versions of Black Canary?
God. Not just that, man. But what's her name? Was it Felicity? Just how she made. Look, there's so many tropes I'm fucking tired of. It's the genius who can hack into NASA and NORAD in 2 seconds from the chair and solve every problem. I fucking hate that. I want to go back to the hero figuring it out on his own. He doesn't have some asshole in a chair helping him out. Just get away from that shit. I'm done.
Yeah.
Self-reliant.
Yeah, so the Swamp Thing was technically separate from all of that. It wasn't the same universe, but
it wasn't. Okay.
You still had some CW level castings, and you had some castings that were more kind of prestige TV. So give and take. Real quick on AJ for Kill Tony. So Zaxx did drop the link. He also dropped the timestamp in there. So let me see. Yeah. 1 hour and 39 minutes, 17 seconds. So if you want, go check out Abomination AJ, give him some love, tell him he sucks. I don't know, do something, but go support him, because that's I think it's cool that he ended up being on Kill Tony. Let's see if there's any other comments. Yeah, Max is coming in. Exactly. I know nothing about Swamp Thing. A lot of people, other than I've heard of the character, sure. I'm sure they haven't heard of Swamp Thing. No real conversations about Lobo. I think everyone's just kind of on board, and hopefully it doesn't get ruined by a poor script. So
yes.
Drew, moving on. Last year I was a bad movie fan, and I didn't really pay attention to much of anything that was coming out because I was so sick of all the random just crappy movies that we were getting. And AJ went back to Kill Tony tonight. Huh. So he'll be on another episode coming up. Crazy. Did you really keep up with films much? I mean, I know you tend to watch a lot of films, but even you, I think, were more so like, hey, they're re-releasing this film in theaters from 20 years ago, 30 years ago. I'm going to go see it. But did you keep up with...
Yeah, I keep up on the movies. Yeah, I'm planning on going to go see several, probably a few more. I want to try to go see that Den of Thieves part 2 or whatever.
Gotcha.
I think the first one was a Netflix only film, but I do want to see this one.
Well, I do want to ask, because we're not going to deep dive into this, but I've got the top 10 for domestic and the top 10 for worldwide. What do you think was the number one movie last year?
Number one movie last year, we're talking worldwide?
Domestic and worldwide. So if you think they're two different ones.
Shit. Damn.
Do you want me to tell you what my guess was?
Yeah.
I would have put money that Deadpool and Wolverine was the number one movie, at least in one of these two categories.
Oh, yeah. I was thinking Deadpool Wolverine was number one worldwide.
It is not.
What?
I know. I'm shocked. It is not. So I'm gonna save the suspense and kind of let you see. But I'm gonna show you the top 10 real quick, and we're gonna do 6 through 10 first for domestic. But coming in, we had Kung Fu Panda 4 at 10, Godzilla X Kong at 9, Twisters at number 8, Dune Part 2 at number 7, and Beetlejuice at number 6. So with these revealed, do you think you might have an idea of what could potentially be number one?
No, I mean, honestly, just I would have thought. You know what's this is just domestic, right?
This is just domestic.
I was gonna say because I know people were really fawning over Dune Part 2, and I know that made a lot. But I was thinking like worldwide Dune was like number 2 or number 3 worldwide. But okay, yeah. I don't know what could have made more.
We'll see. I'm gonna say JK came in with Moana 2. And Zaxx said Inside Out 2.
Oh,
one of these is correct.
I'm going to say probably Inside. I think Inside Out 2. Oh, yeah, there it is.
So, in my mind, I was not expecting that. But wrapping out the domestic top 5 was Despicable Me 4, which I remember coming out, but I feel like I didn't hear anything about it when it came out. Moana 4, which I think it came out closer to the end of the year.
Yeah, same for Wicked.
Same for Wicked, which, surprised me to be in the top 3. But hey, cool, great. I didn't see it, but I'm not a musical person. But
nope, and I'm not a. Was it Iggy Azalea? Is that her name? It was the star.
I think you mean Ariana Grande. Or,
That's it. Yeah. It's like I do know. It's like the only thing I know about her is her trying to get fluid out of a potato on her face, squeezing that. That's the only thing I know about her from Nickelodeon.
I don't even know what that means, but okay.
Yeah, she was on one of the Dan Schneider shows back in the day, where there's clips of her trying to squeeze a potato out of her mouth, like holding it like a very phallic object, trying to get liquid out of it. And that's the only thing I know her from. So apparently she can sing.
Yeah.
Huh.
Have you never heard Ariana Grande sing?
No.
She's like a pop star. Like I would say she's a pop star more than she is.
So she was more than a Nickelodeon kid.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. Like
how about that?
Probably one of the best-selling female artists of the past 10 years, maybe.
I would have thought for someone as wealthy and popular as her, she could afford a ham sandwich or something, because she looks like she's got on the Karen Carpenter diet right now.
She's very skinny. I just want to point out, we said Jaimin D's coming in with Drew's channeling white chicks, laugh out loud. We sound like two grandpas because we're like Iggy Azalea, who is the Australian rapper. But yeah, no, this is great. Okay. See, Max, check. Okay, I could not name a single Ariana Grande album. Legitimately, I could not. I could potentially name some songs. I know she had that "God Is a Woman" song, which I didn't care for, and I know she had that. What was that song with Nicki Minaj? "Bang Bang." That's the only two I can think of off the top of my head. But I know there's others. If I heard them, I would know them. But
if someone's holding a gun to my head and I gotta name it Iggy, if I gotta name it, what the hell's her name again?
Iggy Azalea.
Iggy Azalea song album.
Do you know who Iggy Azalea is? Do you know an Iggy song?
No.
She sang that song "Fancy." I'm so fancy.
Oh, okay. There we go. Now I know her. Okay.
Yeah. Actually, Max, is this the album where she's in that leather bunny mask?
What?
People have gotten tattoos of this shit. Yeah, Zaxx is right. I'm gonna lose my gay card I'm anti musicals, and I couldn't tell you anything about Ariana Grande. Yes, her vocals are kind of Mariah Carey-esque because she can do those high whistle note type things. Kyle, thank you. So if you could not have come in at a more perfect time. This was divine intervention. You coming in and Max knowing an Ariana Grande album, but two, saying that it was fire. I love the. I'm clipping this. I'm clipping it. That's all I'm saying. Sorry, that was perfect. Anyways, Wicked came in at number 3. Deadpool and Wolverine came in number 2, which I was shocked to see, and Inside Out 2 came in at number 1. So that was domestic. Now, Drew, do you think that's the same for worldwide?
No, I think Deadpool came in number 1 worldwide, and Inside Out
All
probably
right.
number 2.
Nice. Let's see how things go. So, looking at worldwide top 10, we already see there's 2 changes right off the bat because Venom: The Last Dance somehow, I don't know why, managed to make it in the top 10.
Hey, China loves Venom, so that's all I know.
Mufasa: The Lion King.
What?
Made it. I don't know. I mean, I'm not opposed to watching it, but I'm not going to the movie theater to see it. I'll watch it on a rainy day while I'm home and it's on Disney Plus or something. Yes, Zaxx, Max check is definitely a thing now. Kung Fu Panda still in the top 10. Godzilla X Kong still in the top 10. Not a great film, but doesn't surprise me. Wicked fell from 3 to 6, so more popular here in the US. But is Deadpool and Wolverine number 1 worldwide? No.
What?
It is still Inside Out 2 with like roughly 350 million more in box office profits. Crazy, wild. But yeah, Dune came in with part 2 at number 5. Moana 2. Again, Moana 2, pretty damn impressive because I think it came out late November, early December, somewhere along in there. Had Moana 2 come out in the summer, I would say it might even be number 1. Despicable Me 4 coming in at 3. Again, shocked because I knew it came out, but I didn't hear shit about it. Deadpool Wolverine 2, it's one of the 2 films that crossed $1 billion, 1.338 billion. Definitely great for a rated R film. Also, considering it was pretty subjective in terms of whether people liked it or not. I'm looking at Max because Max loved it, and I know you hated it.
Which one?
I'm joking. I'm talking about Deadpool and Wolverine.
I was gonna say, wait, what? Okay, yes, very, very astute joke. I enjoyed it. I very much enjoyed the film. It's good popcorn fun, and I'm an easy lay when it comes to like different interpretations of Wolverine, the multiverse. Okay, you put him up on, you get him crucified. You got the Age of Apocalypse, Wolverine. Okay, yep, it's already got thumbs up from me.
A lot of fun fan service. I think Max just hated the humor, but it's a Deadpool film. Like you got to know what you're getting into.
You're gonna be breaking the fourth wall. You're not going in for high art. It knows what it is.
I do want to say, Kaiser Jose pointed out, if you have kids, Inside Out 2 is great. Not only that, the one thing I remember about Inside Out 2 is a lot of people were really nervous that it was going to be like super woke, and it wasn't. A lot of people came back to say, hey, this is actually really good. I think it's got a good message for kids. It deals a lot with just kind of growing up, going into your tweens or teens, dealing with anxiety, kind of being, it kind of gave this message of be who you are, because the lead character is a girl, like all the emotions are in her head, and I think she wants to play like ice hockey or something. So kind of like, yeah, this isn't quote unquote like what a girly girl should do, but if that's what you want to do, go do it and have fun. So yes, there was apparently going to be some trans analogy stuff that was rumored to be in it, again rumored, and that wasn't there, so I think that helped its case.
Yes.
And Max said Deadpool and Wolverine was awful. So
you sure he's not talking about Dune Part 2 or Moana 2 or
maybe Yeah, Kaiser Jose said Deadpool and Wolverine's a great theater film. I agree. I think it's a fun experience, but
Yes.
not really rewatchable. And JK put, I found Deadpool and Wolverine boring at points. I mean, look, far from perfect. It was fun though. I kind of expected it to be that going in, so not upset about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, super surprised. Inside Out 2 coming in top box office, not only for domestic but worldwide. Just goes to show that, Drew, if you ever have kids, get ready because you're gonna be going to the theater or watching a lot of kids' films.
Oh, great.
Fun times. Fun
Yes.
times. Maybe that'll be in your future in a few years. You know, who knows?
Man, I'll be middle-aged and have a kid. That's even weirder.
I mean, like, it's not weird that you would have a kid, but it will be weird if you have a kid, just in general.
Yes.
We're like, what do you mean you can't do this because you got a kid? you used to be cool, man.
Yeah. You've been doing this. You've been doing this for the last 10 years. What do you mean you can't now? Come on.
We're gonna go ahead and move on to Kapow and talk about comics. And you can't give me shit for this slide because I pulled it together quickly. But I did want to discuss comics that are coming out in 2025 that you may or may not be excited for. Preferably that you are excited for. But I'm pretty sure that Martian Manhunter from the Absolute Verse is probably number one on your list, right?
Oh, absolutely. I've got my popcorn and beer ready to. I'm going to be roasting the shit out of this comic. I cannot wait.
It's Dennis Camp. How could you go wrong?
Well, that's exactly it. You know, it's clearly going to be writing this as a joke because Dennis Camp is a joke master. He's a joke king. I think he's the only writer, I think, besides Mark Russell, doesn't realize what he's writing is god awful or unintentionally hilarious.
Yeah, not a fan of Dennis Camp. Other than that, I mean, we got a couple of things coming out. I guess the big name stuff coming out would be you've got Hush 2 or Hush.
You know what I was thinking? Like, why didn't they just call it Hush Hush?
So I've said that before. Like, I don't know. But it's also interesting because they just came off. What was the Lady Hush? Shush.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Yes.
I hope they incorporate that somehow. Yeah, I don't know. I have been pretty open that I think Hush is overrated because it tends to make a lot of top 10 Batman story lists, and I'm like, it's not even close to being in the top 10. It's fine. It's fun. It's a great book for marketing. Like, honestly, I think it's a great book for marketing. Other than that, it's just okay to fun. It's okay to good. But I don't think this book is going to be nearly as good, and I don't think the art is going to be nearly as good. And that's honestly what made the first Hush great was Jim Lee's art. And this looks lazy.
Yeah, and honestly, I think this image is a reused image. I swear by it. But I can really see after issues 3 and 4 that Scott Williams is going to be doing a lot of the heavy lifting on the art. And look,
Yep.
I respect Scott Williams to death. He's been Jim's right-hand man since X-Men, Uncanny X-Men, back in the late 80s. But we're not coming for Scott Williams. We're coming for Jim Lee. And if he can't finish the job and if he can't really deliver what we are expecting to, this will be a bust. And look, I said this last Friday on Max's channel. Do you seriously think Jim Lee, approaching 60 with Scott Williams, would want to be doing interiors on Batman several issues? Shit, no. They don't want to. Jim Lee has never wanted to do interiors. He's never wanted to do this. He's wanted to be the guy in charge. Going as far back as when he started doing this, he did not want to be an interior comic guy. And the only reason why they're doing this is because Batman's in the shitter. Thanks to Chip Zdarsky.
The whole thing kind of screams desperation.
100%.
And I'm curious to see, because I think this is supposed to be 10 issues. Their run's supposed to be 10 issues. I'm curious to see if he does the full run, because I don't think he will.
Well, that's where I think we're going to start getting probably after issues 3 or 4. We're going to start seeing in the credits breakdowns by Jim Lee, finished pencils and inks by Scott Williams.
Yeah. Yeah. Wouldn't be surprised. Before we kind of touch on these two Marvel books that are showing up here, I think the one thing that I can fairly say, because you talked about it, that you're excited for is Aquaman by Jeremy Adams.
100%. That's my pick. That's my pick for best. Probably one of the best books of the year for 2025.
Yeah. I'm excited. We haven't had a solo Aquaman title in a while, specifically one that was good. The last time I can remember Aquaman being readable was the launch of Rebirth.
Hell, I'd go back before that. I would go to New 52 with Jeff Johns and Ivan Reis on the art.
Yeah, I mean, no, agreed. That was better than what was in Rebirth. But what kicked off Rebirth was actually, because I think that was Dan Abnett. It was actually solid. And then you had that weird kind of short story that Stepan Sajek did, which was fine. But we're due for a good Aquaman story, and I think Jeremy Adams can deliver, especially if they just let him do his thing. Like he's proving with Green Lantern, if you let him do his thing, he can deliver what superhero comics should be, and we desperately need more of that.
Yes,
Yeah.
and it's like Jeremy Adams is the good version of Jed McKay right now, where you have Jed McKay getting all these gigs and producing subpar work. Jeremy Adams is proving he is writing at an optimal level and has earned the right to be writing a lot of these titles and events. And I really think if Aquaman is a hit, we're going to probably see him more on Batman or Superman or whatever in the future.
Yeah. So, tell your LCS you want to read that book. Let's try to help him, because Jeremy's a great guy too.
Yes, he is one of the nicest, one of the best. Him and Jim Zub.
Yep. So Kaiser Jose put Aquaman as my most anticipated. Jaimin D came in with, don't know if you guys saw Jeremy Adams on Mark Miller's podcast. I'm now even more excited after watching it. I have not. I'll have to check it out. Drew, have you watched it?
Not yet. I know it dropped over the weekend. I haven't had a chance to watch it yet.
Sweet. Yeah, I'll have to go check that out. He put they also discuss how he writes. How the stories he writes is not politically leaning. He writes so all sides can, but that's what it should. And look, it's fine if you want to have a political message in there, but I feel like those are always received best when you present both sides.
Yes.
And if you want to have a slight lean one way or the other, fine. But when you go all in and point and preach, and then especially if your information isn't fully accurate, you're going to run into problems. You're
forcing a political talking point into a character that's never
expressed
ever. Yeah, that's where you're going to start having problems.
Yeah, I love complex characters. I think you should have characters that differ from one another. It's fine if they have different beliefs, but my whole thing is let them both present their argument, and if you don't ever completely say one is right, but you see the pros and cons of both people's sides, I think that makes more compelling stories. But we don't get that. We get a bunch of yahoos that don't really know how the world works, and then they preach and cry and whatever at you.
Yeah, these are individuals who never left the apartment.
Yeah. On the Marvel side of things, we've got the Doom Saga or whatever that's called that's coming in.
Yeah, it's their big... their next big massive crossover event, but I will give it this. This is the one I'm probably looking forward to the most from the ones you were showing here. That's the one, because and I'm going to keeping a close eye on that, because I love Doom. Doom is one of my favorite characters, and probably my favorite villain. Probably my favorite villain. But when he's written right, it's fantastic. So I'm going to be keeping a close eye on Ryan North and with this jabroni's going to do with him in the opening books. So I'm hoping it's good.
Yeah, that's my next question. What all has Ryan North done?
He has taken the Fantastic Four and turned it into a laughingstock, in my opinion.
Yeah.
He's turned it into anything other than the Fantastic Four, predominantly their kids or whatever else, and pretty much turned me off from the book. From the opening issue, I have not liked it.
Same. Listen, I tried reading it because I heard a lot of people praising it, and it just was not. it was not my favorite.
And
'cause
I understand. I completely understand that people love slice of life. People love people just sitting around doing nothing. Hey, that's great. You know what? You go have fun with that in the manga. You go have. I call that being in the real world. You go have fun in the real world. This is escapism. I'm not going to escapism to read about people sitting in a diner. I would go to Starbucks and see that. No,
And
entertain
I'm
me.
fine. I'm fine if that's in a superhero comic, but it needs to be like the breather between arcs.
Not most of the pages.
Yeah. I remember reading that first issue of Fantastic Four from Ryan North, and I think it's the one where it's the Thing, and is it Betty? Is her name Betty? They go to the town, but it's displaced out of time or whatever. Yeah, I don't know. It didn't work for me. Sorry.
No.
I read the whole first 6 issues of his run, and it just did not.
No, it
Did
did
not
nothing
work for me. So we'll see what happens with Doom. I feel like this is definitely getting pushed because of the whole MCU film and Robert Downey Jr. coming back. I'm actually more excited for this Wolverine book because one, I think it could potentially be one of the better Wolverine books, but it's Chris Condon. So it's the guy that did That Texas Blood and the Enfield Gang Massacre.
Yes, this move has vibes of a Brian Michael Bendis feel to it, where you bring this guy from the indie field, bring him over to Marvel, see what he can do. I think the Chris Condon is similar in that vein. Okay, you got this guy from the indie field. Let's bring him over to Marvel. Let's see what he can do. And that preview they had out for issue 1, it was good. It was fine.
Oh,
so
I haven't even seen the preview yet.
Or was it? I think it was in this. There was a preview for this book that came out, or it was in the backup. It was a backup story somewhere.
Oh, it might be something I just haven't even gotten to yet. Because my December books, I still need to read my December books. Just gonna throw that out there. But yeah, no, I we'll see. There's really not much else that I can think of from Marvel that I'm overly excited about. I think the Ultimates universe has been a bit of a drag. So the new stuff coming out for it, aside from potentially this one title, okay, sure, who cares? Sorry.
Yeah, fair.
But, anything else that you're looking forward to, or maybe something that's continuing that you're looking forward to?
Look, I mean, Conan is the one I'm still looking forward to the most. When we discuss our best of the year on Friday, most of those in my top 5 or so are ongoing series. So there's going to be quite a few I'll still be looking forward to reading because they've set a high bar.
Yeah. I'm still reading stuff and sorting through my list. So I've got some stuff that I haven't read yet that's popped up. One's popped up in my top 10. A few have popped up on my list, but it looks like they might be falling into honorable mentions. We'll see. So I'm still kind of tying loose ends up and then I'll be ready to go. But yeah, no, I agree with you. I think there's a lot of good stuff carrying over into the new year. We do have Kaiser Jose. He said, is it possible Hush 2 is already complete? No. Because
I think they even said Jim Lee had to take a break between issues 3 and 4. So I guarantee, if anything, he's probably on issue 5 or 6 by now, maybe.
And just for perspective, when he was doing co-publisher duties with Dan DiDio, which pretty much meant Dan DiDio was doing everything and he was just kind of there.
Yeah, and that's speaking. Sorry, a little segue. That's so true about that. I mean, even Ethan Van Sciver will say when he was having meetings with Dan and Jim or whatever, he'd be talking to Dan. He said Jim would always be sitting there just doodling on his paper. That's all he'd be doing. The
one thing that Jim does or did, it's not happening anymore, was he used to really protect the artists, and he put a big push on the importance of artists. And then he was pretty big on just kind of the history, and now it seems like all that's just gone out the window. So that's a shame to see. But
yes,
when Rebirth launched, keep in mind he was doing interiors for Suicide Squad. But they were only doing 15 to 18 page stories.
Yeah, and then they had a backup.
Yeah, the rest of the issue were backups with different artists, and it's because he couldn't commit to doing a full issue within a month. And they gave him another big leeway leading into that because they knew that they were going to do that with Suicide Squad before they ended the New 52. They had a Harley Quinn special kind of teasing, or Suicide Squad / Harley Quinn special teasing what was going to come in Rebirth.
Yeah, and I speaking of that, speaking about Jim and doing interiors, I do want to say this to the crowd. It's like people watching, doing interiors for a book today, you're doing it out of love, really. Mm-hmm. You're doing it because you love it, or you're getting paid a stupid amount of money like Jim Lee is. Because if you're doing interiors and you don't love it, the pay must be doing pretty well, because you really only do it if you love to do it. That's the storytelling mantra people like to say, like Rob Liefeld. I mean, it's true. Doing interiors is a bitch. It really is. You only do it because you love it and really do it. But I guarantee with Jim, he's got on top. He's probably building a second golden parachute for himself from this run. So yeah, we'll see how it turns out.
Indeed, we will. Real quick, Kaiser Jose also put, never read an Aquaman book. Jeremy Adams will do that to a character. Now imagine Jeremy Adams on Batman.
Kaiser, you're missing out on some good stuff. I'll say, check out the Jeff Johns New 52 run with Ivan Reis. It is really damn good. And honestly, I would say check out the Peter David stuff. What Peter David did back in the early 90s. Jim California on the art.
And I think they just had a Aquaman Peter David omnibus.
Correct.
Not too long ago. So if you can find that, it might be your best bang for your buck in trying to read all that. But yeah, completely agree. One more comment or two more, I guess I should say. Jaimin D put Betty Davis, Betty Boop, which Betty, Josh, which we must know. I can't remember what her name is. It's the blind girlfriend.
Oh, Alicia Masters.
Oh, okay, there we go. Yep. See, I don't read a ton of Fantastic Four, so.
I've got most of the On the Buy collections on my bookshelf, and yeah.
And then last but not least, JK put, I think it gets down to the discussion about being a reader. Reading a variety of works allows understanding of different viewpoints, but many current writers aren't readers and can't perceive views. That's going back to that kind of political leanings and preaching versus, telling good stories. So
just not getting out there and talking to people or listening to people who have different walks of life, different viewpoints on life. That's one thing I love to do. I love to eavesdrop on conversations of people. I love to just staying behind them and just listening, just hearing how they talk. If there's any clever phrases that they're saying, I just love to pick up on that. Just see what people think and say.
So you heard it here, folks. If Drew's around, be careful what you say because he likes to eavesdrop. He goes to the mall. He's one of the few people that still goes to the mall. He goes to the concession area, looks for whichever group might have the juiciest conversations, and he goes and sits next to him.
Well, not the food court area.
Yeah. Do they? I don't even know if food courts still exist. Do malls still exist?
Yes, they do. Here in Indiana, here in Indianapolis, yes, they do.
We've got a few out here. They're mostly becoming outdoor malls, though.
Yeah.
Real quick before we wrap things up, we have Nadia in the house. She put "What boys?" Maybe that's supposed to be "What's up, boys?" And she did put "True show feed." But her serious comment was, "I just finished my stream on upcoming horror comics of 2025. Not if you have the link, throw it in here so people can go watch it."
Yeah,
we're throwing links everywhere tonight. So, you don't have a wrench. Shoot, we'll change that. Just not right now because I got to go to YouTube to do that. Anyway, that is mostly going to wrap. Was there anything else you wanted to mention coming up about 2025?
Stay tuned for all my projects coming out in 2025. I'm going to have. I'm planning on having at least 5, if not more, coming out next year. Finally.
Yeah, no, definitely. You've got a ton of stuff coming out. So yeah. Kaiser, he put, what's the Batman book Zdarsky wrote before the ongoing? It was like the night.
He did Batman the Night, which Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he had it was in the Batman anthology. Was it Batman Untold Tales or something? It's been like the current ongoing series for like the last 2 years for Batman. I forget what it's called, but his was always like the lead story in it, and it was okay.
Yeah.
I'm tired of Red Hood getting away with murder from Batman. I'm tired of him. It's pissing me off.
Yeah, that's, I mean, completely fair. I did think the one book that I was thinking of that I didn't mention with this is Rick Remender's been doing a really good job lately, and he's got a book coming out called The Seasons. We'll see if that's worth
And
it.
the Sacrificers. Sacrificers is really good.
Yeah, Sacrifices is still going on. It's still really good. He's got Grommets, which was a limited series that I had a shit ton of fun reading. You may or may not hear about it on Friday. He had Napalm Lullaby, which I didn't care for. But he's got a book that he hasn't announced the title of that's supposed to come out next year with Daniel Acuna on art. And I think it's another fantasy book. But he pretty much told Daniel Acuna, like, take your time. I want you to deliver the best art that you can. So Daniel Acuna spent 3 years doing the art for this book.
Oof.
So, yeah.
On top of Avengers Twilight. So, wow.
On top of Avengers Twilight, he spent 3 years doing the art for this book. So that makes me think we're going to get a freaking beautiful book at the very least. But I'll be curious to see what they deliver and what it's about. Awesome. I'm getting Nadia's link real quick for the horror comics so I can drop it in here. And boom. So just drop that in. So make sure you go watch that after we wrap up so you can see what she's looking forward to in the world of horror comics as we move into the rest of this year. With that said, just a couple of quick announcements for what's coming up with Pop by Culture so you guys can be in the loop. Next Tuesday, I'll be back with Drew, my main man, to discuss the top 5 comics of December 2024. Like I said, I've got to read the comics first. That's why it didn't happen this week, because I'm trying to read everything for Friday, which, by the way, come to Max's channel Friday, where we'll discuss our top 10 books. Well, I guess top 20 books ultimately,
pretty much,
of 2024. So, excuse me, come check us out, and we're gonna have a good time and probably give each other shit for the order that we put stuff in, and it should be good. As we move into the new year further, we will continue top 5 comics, but it will move into top 5 comics of 2025. We're gonna do a little bit of a facelift, and I'm gonna actually add some elements into the stream where you can see some of the original art of the books that we're discussing. That way, you get more of a feel of what we're discussing. So that should be hopefully nice and enjoyable. It's going to be more work, so you better fucking like it. No, I'm kidding. It will be more work. So please give me positive feedback when we get to that point. Also coming up, we do have wrapping out the month. So next week we'll have top 5 comics. We'll have another culture pops coming in the week after that, and then to end the month, we're going to have our comic book club, where we'll be discussing Alan Moore's Swamp Thing Volume 1. Super excited. I love this run, and I feel like this is a decent indie book to kind of jump in. It's got a nice tie to superheroes, so it doesn't feel like it's super independent, but it definitely feels different than what you normally get from DC or Marvel.
And on top of that, you have some of the best artists in the world, the best cartoonists in the world working on this book. Stephen Bissett, John Toddleben, they are legends. Look them up.
Absolutely. So make sure you read this. You got a month to jump in, check it out. You won't regret it, I promise. And we will go from there. I still have Kaiser's comment up, and I can't get it to go away. There we go. Other than that, I think, coming up first Monday in February, we've got Marvelous Monday coming back, where we'll be discussing X-Men 2000. We filmed this months ago. I'm just an asshole and didn't get a chance to, little things like chopping your finger off, stuff like that gets in the way. But we finally that coming in and dropping. We've got another episode already filmed after that, and we'll actually be picking up episodes of this to film. So getting back in that Marvelous Monday groove. So you'll have to come check that out. And I think that is all for the announcements. Drew, if people want to find you, where can they find you?
You can find me on Facebook, Dolan Waddick. You can find me on Instagram, Dolan_Waddick. I'm always posting all the different projects I'm working on or channels I'm going to appear on. And so stay tuned. Coming up with all the art I'm going to be posting.
Yeah, it's like, seriously, it's going to be a lot. It's going to be so much. If you want to find me or follow the channel, so my personal Twitter is going to be at Joshua L. McDonald. The site is going to be at ByPopped. You're going to see way more comic book conversations at ByPopped. You might see some comic book conversations on my handle, but you'll get a lot of dogs and who knows what else. Random crap. So, be fair warned. Of course, we're here every Tuesday. We will have some special episodes coming up throughout the year that won't fall on Tuesdays. And then I will make sure I do a better job of letting you guys know when I'm on other channels, or maybe if I find out Drew's going to be on another channel, I'll promote it as well. But until then, once this live stream is done, I need you to go into the comments of the actual video, comment, and please give Max shit for being an Ariana Grande stan. You'll make me happy, you'll make Drew happy, and we'll make Max feel bad. So it's a win-win-win all across the board. But no, thank you guys. It's a miracle. Thank you guys for tuning in. My allergies are starting to kick up, so I apologize that I'm getting nasally. But I will see you guys next week when we discuss top 5 comics. It's going to be a good time. Come see us on Friday. Max's channel, MVP. We're going to be discussing top 10 comics of 2024. You don't want to miss it. I can't wait to call people assholes and losers. So until then, have a good night. Happy New Year.
Bye.
Get the fuck